Hello, everybody. I'm Glenn Walker, and this is College Football Review. On the first Saturday of October, the top-ranked Florida Gators returned from a week off for an SEC matchup in Oxford, and the Ole Miss Rebels managed to stay with the Gators for most of the first half. We check out the action from Oxford. There is Steve Spurrier. Actually, his Gators made it look easy early. Opening drive, Terry Dean marches the Gators downfield, capped off by a 24-yard strike to Chris Doring. 7-0 Gators. Rebels offense with 3 plays and out. On the punt, it's blocked. Fred Weary trots in for the score. 14-0 Florida. Looks like the route is on. Right? Wrong. Josh Nelson, the Ole Miss quarterback, hits LeMay Thomas, the wide receiver on the screen. Look at the moves he puts on here. He gets into the end zone. It was 14-7. Then on Florida's next possession, Dean gets pressured. He will float up a duck. It is picked by Fred Thomas. Thomas heading for that sideline. Dean can't make the tackle. He keeps his feet and romps 86 yards for the tying touchdown. All tied at 14. Nice flying dive there at the end. Second quarter, Dean would take over. Gators get serious. 15 yards to Jack Jackson for 7. And then 22 yards to Jackson again to make it 28-14. And that was it for the Ole Miss Rebels. The Gators go on to win it by a final score of 38-14. Dean had 4 touchdown passes, giving him 17 on the season, but he also threw 3 interceptions, and he was also sacked for the first time this season. However, the top-ranked Gators go on to victory. Now to Lincoln, where the second-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers, without starting quarterback Tommy Frazier, who was hospitalized earlier in the week with a blood clot in his left calf, had a tough time with the Wyoming Cowboys, who jumped out to a 14-point lead in this one. And there is Tommy Frazier. Hopefully he'll be back in action sometime before the end of the season. Cowboys in the upset mode. Jeremy Dombick to Marcus Hayes, and he is off to the races. 40 yards for a quick 6. Cowboys up 7-0. Frazier's replacement, Brooke Behringer, was off early. Lee Vaughn picks him off, one of 2 Nebraska first-quarter turnovers. And that led to this, a 2-yard touchdown run by Terry Hendricks. Cowboys have the Huskers in a haze with a 21-7 lead, but Behringer and NU come back. The junior quarterback rips off a 24-yard scramble for a touchdown on the option. That tied it at 21 in the third quarter. After a Wyoming turnover, Lawrence Phillips gets around the corner, heads for the sidelines, and up the sidelines. He goes 40 yards for the touchdown. Nebraska led it 28-21. But Wyoming would not go away. Fourth quarter down by 1. Jeremy Glitster hauls in John Houston's touchdown toss after the 2-point conversion. Wyoming within 3. The Cowboys make a crucial error. Brian Tillman fumbles. Damon Benning covers it. Sets up field position for Nebraska. And on the next play, Phillips scores his 3rd touchdown of the game. And the Huskers go on to hold off Wyoming by a final score of 42-32, just a little bit tougher than what they expected. Number 4, Penn State taking on Temple. This game taking place at Franklin Field in Philadelphia.
The following is a special presentation of TV 55 Sports.
Welcome to MAC football. This is Leonardov Field in Poughkeepsie, New York, nestled in the Catskills, where today the MAC conference game brings you the Marist Red Foxes against the St. John's Red Storm. You'll see on the conference standings of the MAC, on the top, Duquesne, 2-0 inside the league. Now, the Dukes were not considered the preseason favorite. Iona Gales, the defending champs, were considered the team to beat, but Iona off to a 1-1 start. At the top of the conference, Duquesne 2-0, followed by Canisius and Marist. Marist 1-2 outside the conference. St. John's playing their first conference game after winning 2 non-conference games. Duquesne moving to the top of the conference after a 40-21 beating of St. Peter's. But this will be a wild scramble. Hi again, this is Ed Ingles along with Freeman McNeil and Kevin Christopher here on a damp afternoon, Freeman. But a day which really is good for football because it has that feel to it.
It does, and I tell you, both of these teams are ready to get it going.
Now, you got 2 big play guys on each team. For Marist, you've got their tight end, Michael Milo. For St. John's, you've got their wide receiver, Tom McPherson, both capable of making the big play. Milo, tight end, 6'3", out of Long Island. They like to use him, does Marist, in a flex position or a slot back.
Well, when you have a great player like this, you want to put him all over the field so he could give, I guess, the defense just terror fits, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to give them their big man, and they're going to take it to them.
Now, St. John's has somebody who's special in McPherson. He's got 31 touchdown receptions already. He was on pace, perhaps, to break Jerry Rice's 1AA record for most career touchdown receptions, but he got hurt halfway through last season. He's not very big, Freeman, only 5'10", only 150 pounds or so, but he's a good one.
I tell you what, some big explosions coming through some small packages. You look at Dave Maggott, and to me, I think this guy has that type of capability going out there. He knows what he has to do, and I'm sure the coach is going to put him out there and let him, too, make the big plays for St. John's.
Well, McPherson has a fine awareness on the field. He's got excellent hands. He's a fine receiver. Now, the big matchup today, as far as these two teams are concerned today, Freeman, is size. Marist awfully big up front, much bigger than St. John's.
Well, I'm looking at it like this. I think the first quarter will let us know what's going to happen the rest of the game. St. John's, if they can outquick them, they may have a chance. If they can't, then the bigger team is going to push them all over the field.
All right, we'll be back with more pregame right after this.
We're using these attention getters to attract you to the government's free Consumer Information Catalog. For your free copy, write Catalog, Pueblo, Colorado 81009.
You don't know how magnificent U.S. prime beef can be till you've had Ruth's Chris Extraordinary Corn-Fed Beef, served sizzling. Dining at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse is a whole new experience. So come hungry for U.S. prime beef like you've never tasted before. Only at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, home of serious steaks.
The big matchup today in this MAC battle will be the special teams of Marist and St. John's. As the coaches know, that constitutes 1/3 of the game. In Freeman McNeil, both teams are very strong when it comes to special teams. When you look at Marist with their guy, Mario Wilson, he is special.
He really is. I was watching him warm up today, and I'll tell you what, he's streamlined, looks very strong. The guy knows what he's doing, and I think when I was looking at him, he was concentrating on what he must do today in order to win. Let me tell you something. Special teams are very important when it comes to college football because with these two teams, St. John's not really having a big running game. They're going to need, good field position, and they're going to be looking for that. So look for special teams to really play a big part in today's win.
Now, Wilson has blocked 3 kicks this year for Marist. He plays defensive back where he's also intercepted 3 passes, so he's a big game breaker for Marist. On the St. John's side, they have a former track star, the Big East long jump champion, also one of the top sprinters of the East, Aaron Hatwood. Only 2 years into football, he came out last year and said, I want to be a big-time football player. And Hatwood has been able to do that this year, returning a kick 95 yards against Monmouth for a touchdown.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ed, we better get ready for a good football game here. I think they're going to use Aaron today. They're going to need him today, and I think this game will be decided on these special teams. Let's look at the size difference here. What do you think?
Well, I think Marist's got a big edge, especially St. John's concerned about their offensive line against Marist's big defensive line. That's going to be a real special play as far as I'm concerned. How well St. John's can move the ball on Marist?
Well, I'll put it like this. They better run to the outside. They cut the big guys in the middle and run to the outside and then throw it up and let McPherson run for the touchdown.
Well, we'll see how right you are, Freeman. That wraps up the pregame show. Now stay tuned with us. We'll be back with the kickoff in just a few moments.
In multiple sclerosis, we may not be able to answer the whys yet. But we do have answers to many important questions, such as how to manage MS symptoms, where to get equipment loans, who can provide needed counseling, and what educational and recreational support is available to assist those with MS and their families. We're the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, and we're dedicated to helping people with MS live longer, more productive lives. Whether you're newly diagnosed or have had multiple sclerosis for many years, there is a range of special services offered just for you by our 144 chapters and branches in all 50 states. We're the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, and we don't take MS lying down. For help in your area, call your local MS chapter or 1-800-LEARN-MS. That's 1-800-LEARN-MS.
All right, back here at Leonard Field in Poughkeepsie, St. John's Red Storm will receive, as they won the toss. The Marist Red Fox will kick off. It is a very wet and damp afternoon for football, as the rain has now begun here. And it'll be a factor, Freeman McNeil, I'm sure, as far as chewing up the middle of the field.
Oh, yeah. When that rain comes down like that, you know it's going to saturate the ground. And when these guys get to hitting and cutting, they're going to dig it right up.
Mike Zeller will kick off. Back to receive, Kevin Delaney. He is to the far side, and Aaron Hatwood is to the near side. Zeller comes forward. It is a short kick, taken around the 25-yard line by the up back, and he immediately is swarmed all over, knocked down. So the Red Storm will go first down and 10 as the kick was taken by Gregory Roddick, a linebacker, and returned as he gets it out across the 30-yard line. And so the Red Storm will go first and 10 from their own 31-yard line. St. John's has done very well protecting the football in the last 13 games. They fumbled the ball only 6 times in 567 carries. Their quarterback is Mark Levine, the freshman, number 11. The fullback is Anetra as they come out with 3 wide receivers. Levine taking his time. 4-3 rush by Marist. Levine going for the big receiver and connects right off the bat with a nice throw to Tom McPherson, but it's out of bounds and complete. He's the big guy for St. John's, McPherson, who, as we mentioned earlier, has had 31 touchdown receptions in his career, Freeman. You want to get it to him?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's great. And you see what St. John's is doing. They're spreading them out. Okay, they know that they're coming with the big guys, and they're lofting the ball over everyone because of this rangy, this rangy defense, and they have holes in it, and they're going to pick it apart.
The lone setback now is Jermaine Creighton, a freshman. Again with the 3 wide receiver, this time a 4 wide receiver formation. Lehman has a man open, and he gets the first down and cracks out across to the midfield stripe. It goes to John O'Leary, the 6'1", 165 sophomore. As they flooded the zone that time, St. John's got the open man, and Rick Fish, the middle linebacker, who some say will be the best linebacker to come out of Marist before he's finished, comes up to make the stop. Fish. So it's a first down for St. John's at their own 47.
You see what they did, Ed? They ran everybody deep, and then they threw underneath it. He took advantage of the short man. Great play.
They go with a wide open offense, Freeman. They're going with 5 wide receivers, slot right and slot left, and just 1 setback as Levine's going to throw again. Again, he has a man open. Does not get the first down, but the pass is complete to Aaron Hatwood, the man we mentioned who had returned to kickoff last week for 95 yards for a touchdown against Monmouth, as he peels off in the flat where Brian Oles, the 5'11", 200-pound senior, makes a stop.
It looks to me that St. John's has found a little problem here with the defense, and they're exploiting it by throwing underneath. Everyone's dropping off, and what a nice little play, a nice little pickup.
So St. John's with a 2nd and 4 situation at the Marist 47-yard line. We're just underway. St. John's an opening drive. Again going with 4 wide receiver formation and 1 setback. Levine shows his quickness now. He can run. He's got happy feet. He's still on his feet as he goes inside the 45-yard line, where he's stopped again by Rick Fish, the 5'11", 192-pound sophomore from Albany, as Bill Karwowski was the man who made the rush on Levine, but Levine was just too quick for him.
Levine, I tell you, boy, he has some quick feet. He drops back, and he feels the pressure to his right, so he avoids this tackler. He's looking downfield. By this time, everybody's sitting and watching him. Now the rush is coming to him, and he's going to take it back up the field for a sizable gain. So he is a nifty little athlete, this guy.
So Freeman St. John's now has reeled off 2 first downs into Marist territory at the Red Foxes' 42-yard line. Levine last week threw for 3 third-quarter touchdown passes. He was also sacked a total of 6 times. Anitra is trying to find running room up the middle, but he gets hammered in there. That's going to be a tough place for St. John's to run up the middle on Marist because Marist is so much bigger defensively.
Well, and you know what they're doing? It's just a change-up. It's a pitcher. When he gets up on the mound, just to keep them thinking, you know, they put a little change-up in there, and this is what he did.
Darren Valdez, the defensive end, elevated to a starting post this week for Marist, makes a stop, and St. John's now has a 2nd and 8 situation at the Marist 40, as again they go back to the 4 wide receivers. Levine is the quarterback, number 11. Creighton, 22, is the lone setback for St. John's. Wants to go deep, and almost intercepted as it bounces off the hands of Malik Woodard, number 9, the cornerback. Almost had a chance there for an interception, but could not hold on to it.
Ed, did you see? Did he touch? Did he push the receiver away
A
from
little
the ball?
bit, didn't he? I thought so too, Freeman.
That's amazing.
He got away with a little something
well, he
there.
got away with it. But here you go again for the big play. Levine is going down the field.
Yeah, 3rd and 8. This time, though, he goes with 2 setbacks. The first time that St. John's has run from that formation. They have 2 wide receivers and 2 setbacks. Let's see what they do on 3rd and 8. Levine has time, certainly. Throws it too far out of bounds as the pass was overthrown. Had a man open. Was Dan Parker, the tight end, but 4th down is here for the Red Storm, and they'll have to kick it away to the Marist Red Foxes, who will be getting the ball for the first time today.
And certainly looking at what's taking place out here, I think they were moving the ball pretty well. But to go for those 2 plays like that, maybe I mean, in my opinion, I think it was unwarranted. I think they were having a little success in throwing the ball underneath.
They were, and they were certainly a passing ball club here early on. They're just not going to the ground. They only had 1 running play on that drive, as Demikas will punt it away from his 45. Waiting for it back there is Mario Wilson. Decent kick. Wilson will field it up at the 10-yard line, stumbles and falls forward, but Marist will start out with poor field position inside their 20. A 31-yard punt by Demikas. A good kick because it was inside the 20. And Ray Lambright, the big defensive tackle for St. John's, who plays in the special teams downfield to make the stop.
And that was great field coverage by St. John's. And I just believe that Mario just kind of lost his footing. See, the rain is raining, and it's making it very slick.
Now, Marist goes with the new quarterback starting, Bob Del Ponte. He replaces Pete Ford. Ford suffered a mild concussion last Saturday. They often share the game. Ford, we're told, will play later, but DePonte right now is in there and trying to find a running room off the left side. There isn't much there. Carrying the ball is Chad Wycliffe, the 5'11", 183-pound freshman.
Well, I'll tell you what, St. John's really stacked them up. If you saw in the backfield, they had what you call maybe a crossbucks, and that's just to throw the defense off. But St. John's defended it very well, plugging up the middle.
Well, St. John's has their best athletes on the defensive side of the field. They're not too concerned about Marist's advantage of the offensive line because they feel their defensive line is quick enough to handle this situation. On 2nd 11 for Marist at their 13-yard line. We're scoreless first quarter. They try to Rhodes this time. John Rhodes, who tries to wiggle his way for a couple of yards. But again, not much real estate there as far as openings are concerned. He's shut down by Anthony Ferreira, who is 6'3", 234 junior, who comes from New Hyde Park, Long Island.
St. John's is doing a good job in defending the run. If you look here, Del Ponte is pitching the ball out. Now, he can't run the option like the other quarterback, but they're going to stick with things like the crossbucks and the quick pitches for him.
Now watch Milo. He's the slot man on the left side. He's the guy they like to throw to as they go with 3 wide receivers on 3rd and 6. Del Ponte is considered a better passer than Ford, but he struggled throwing the ball this year. And now he throws it to nobody. Either that or Milo should have been going down deeper. Milo broke off the route instead of going deep, and Del Ponte obviously assumed he was going to go deep on the ball. Goes incomplete. So 4th down is here for Marist. They're going to have to kick it away.
Well, here we go. You have a new quarterback, and he's out there. He's running things. Your offense have to change, and not only that, but the receiver and the quarterback relations.
Nice punt by Mike Vecchiarelli inside the 40, taken by John O'Leary. O'Leary trying to strip him of the football, and it is a loose ball. Marist signaling they got the ball, but let's wait and see as they went for the strip on that play on O'Leary. And he coughed it up on St. John's side of the lawn, a 41-yard putt, a very good putt. On top of it is Maury Wilkes, is the man we've signaled recovered the fumble or made the hit? Made the hit.
Ed O'Leary took a serious hit. Once those guys start swarming around you like bees, you better get down on the ground right away.
Yeah, they went that time to strip the ball, but St. John's retains possession of it as they ruled that he was down before he was stripped. So the Redmen again, or the Red Storm, in good field position, 1st and 10 at their own 46. I knew I'd call them the Redmen, Freeman. That's going to take a while to get rid of that, right?
Well, a little practice.
We'll work on it.
Exactly.
Again, the Red Storm using 4 wide receivers in slot formations right and left against the big Marist 4-man front. They run the fullback inside, and he spins and gets some yardage that time as John Anitra, 6'0", 220, the junior, hammers his way for 5 yards.
With an offense set up like this, Ed, they need a big runner like this to run inside. And who better than I guess, big Anitra in there in the middle.
Yeah, they give him forward motion down to the 47, so he actually picked up 7 yards in the play. And St. John's in a good position now, 2nd and 3. As Marist looking for the pass. They have not blitzed. Marist will gamble at times. St. John's again going with a 4 wide receiver formation. This time Creighton is into the running back spot. Little sideline pass is incomplete. Diving for the ball was Tom Goudis, the 5'10", 174-pound senior, who is closely covered by Bruce Harris, number 6 for Marist. So 3rd down coming up now for the Red Storm.
And I tell you what, when you come out with a run and shoot type offense like this, you have to have receivers that's going to come back to the ball. And a quarterback has to put the ball in a position where the receiver can not only push the defensive back, but come back and make the catch. I think the rain has a lot to do with it.
I think you're right. The middle of the field will soon be chewed up with 10:37 to go in the first quarter with scoreless St. John's and Marist. Levine likes to roll out, but he overfires the target as he tried to hit Dan Parker, the tight end, but had a little bit too much mustard on it, Freeman.
I'll put it like this. He has an angle, and that angle sometimes is very tricky. And if you can't find, I mean, that pass should have been dropped in, looped over the defender, and he couldn't do that, and that's why the ball was overthrown.
So St. John's will have to kick it away, and Kevin Delaney will kick it away for the Red Storm as Mario Wilson is inside the 20-yard line for Marist. Rain throwing steadily here. It is expected at some point to keep up. It'll be a factor in making this field very soggy. This one is not much of a kick, goes out of bounds around the 30-yard line of Marist, so the Red Foxes will get a pretty good field position this time after starting poorly on their first drive inside their own 20. A kick only 13 yards for Delaney on that one.
And that was a poor kick.
That's something you and I might do.
I don't know about myself. I'm a little beat up right now, but it was a poor kick. I'm sure things will change, but right now the one thing that they have to worry about is stopping this Marist team.
So Marist has a 1st and 10 situation at the 31-yard line. And again, they go with Del Ponte at quarterback. They like to run from that I formation, and they give it to the deep back, Matt McDonald, the fullback, but he doesn't find much running room. McDonald, 5'9", 220 senior, runs right into Ray Lambright, who was first-team All-MAC last year. Lambright is 6'2", 266, a senior out of Flushing. He's their main man on the defensive line for St. John's.
And I tell you what, Del Ponte running the option. This is the one thing that they, I guess, didn't want to do with this quarterback, but he seemed like he did pretty good.
Yeah, he's not their best option quarterback. Ford, who has the mild concussion, is considered the better option quarterback for them. As they bring Matt McDonald as the up back.
I think he threw the ball too high, too much air. The defensive end recovered, made the interception, and now it's St. John's ball.
Well, at least they know they can get somebody deep, Freeman. So St. John's goes 1st and 10 from their 31. Scoreless game. 9:38 left in the first quarter. Levine would like to go deep, too, and a beautiful catch over the middle in Marist territory with the ball is John Anitra, the big fullback, showing that he's also able to get loose in the secondary, has a lot of speed. It was Roger Hancock, 5'11", 197 junior from Danbury, Connecticut, who finally pulled down St. John's big fullback on a big play for the Redmen as they go, and that play, 34 yards, Freeman.
What a great play by Levine. What he did, he fooled the defense by pumping it and sending his running back out of the backfield, so he got underneath the coverage, and he was able to make a big play.
So for the Red Storm, it's 1st and 10 at the Marist 35. They want to go a little delay to Creighton, but that didn't fool anybody. He stacked up behind the line of scrimmage. Good defensive play then by Darren Valdez, the defensive end. Number 72, 6'1", 223, the freshman with the quick ability to get to the running back and the quarterback. That's why Valdez is starting, because of his quickness. Drops him for a big loss in the play of 5 yards back to the 40.
Well, I think right here the fake had a lot to do with it. It wasn't a great fake. And this way the looping defensive end comes around and he sees the running back and he just hits him right there in the hole.
2nd and 15 for St. John's in Marist territory as Levine has trouble with his footing and goes down under the pressure of Paul Serra. Number 90, the 6'0", 225-pound junior from Goshen comes in to make the stop.
And he's just a big fellow and he just overpowered his man.
The fact
right
that,
to the corner.
The fact that Levine had trouble, too, with his feet,
I think Levine was looking down the field, and Matt Franco just couldn't handle the guy.
Too quick.
That weight difference, it's going to play a big part in today's game, Ed.
Yeah, as the game goes on, too, when they start, the cleats get muddier, the uniforms get heavier, the weight factor is even greater. So it's 3rd now and 20 yards for St. John's, back to the Marist 48. Levine has time this time, and again hits the fullback Anitra, but he's not going to get much on that one as he gets inside the 45. He runs into Mario Wilson, who at 5'11", 167 is able to put the hit on the 220-pound fullback. And St. John's comes up short. So for the 3rd time in this afternoon's game, Kevin Delaney will punt. The first time he did a nice job. The second time he did a poor job. Again, Mario Wilson is the deep back as he slides back around the 20. Delaney will kick it from his 41 as Harris now subs for Wilson as the returner on this one. And the rain drops. Delaney getting pressure but gets it away, angling for the sideline. Harris will come up and make the catch across the 20. He's trying to stutter step his way there, but you can see he had trouble with his footwork in this mud. And so he stopped just across the 20-yard line. And it's 1st down and 10 for Marist. You're watching MAC football.
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are celebrating the NFL's 75th anniversary by bringing back this 1933 replica game jersey. The jersey will be worn by the Steelers in 2 regular season games. It's tailored with a heavyweight nylon body featuring the number 29 on the back and the City of Pittsburgh crest circa 1933 on the front. Sure to be a collector's item, the throwback jersey is just $49.95. To order, call 1-800-570-4KBL. In Pittsburgh, call 788-8575.
This motorcycle. I gotta have this motorcycle. My life is nothing without this motorcycle.
Suzuki's can't beat the deal day. It's 0 down and 9.9% financing on a Katana 750, Intruder 800 or RF 900R. Can't beat the deal days from Suzuki.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
See your Suzuki dealer or call 1-800-828-RIDE.
The Pittsburgh Penguins are back!
Past the Yager behind E. Kennedy, walks in and shoots and scores! Jaromir Jagr! Skate, good left wing pass, run it by Straka behind the defense, moves in against Riendo. He shoots and scores!
Be a part of the action! Get your full, partial, or mini-season seats by calling 642-PEN!
To the right wing, the Yager. Yager moves in front, hooks a punch from by Sanford. He shoots and scores! And you'd have to be here to believe it.
Here at the Marist Field, Ed Ingles along with Freeman McNeil, and slipping and going down on the muddy field is the quarterback, Bob Del Ponte. Could not get his footing, so Marist, in effect, blows a play there, Freeman, in a scoreless ball game with 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. The rain playing a bigger factor as we move along in the first quarter here.
It is, and it will continue to do that all day, and the teams will have to make the adjustment. As you saw, with the rain coming down as slowly as it is posing a problem for both teams.
So now it's the 2nd down and 12 situation, and this is a full house I formation, but they'll shift out of that. And that's Milo they put at the tight end position. They'd like to get the ball to number 19, Milo. Now Ponte wants to throw it long. He's got a man deep, but he comes up and completes a pass. It looks like it may go for the distance. Running free downfield is Chris Heath for the touchdown. A nice play-action fake by Del Ponte, who unloaded the bomb. That time, a 69-yard touchdown toss. 80 yards, I'm sorry. 80-yard touchdown toss from Bob Del Ponte as he hits Chris Heath, the 6'1", 175-pound senior from Bristol, Connecticut, who is running free off the play option. He beat Mark Bernardini the defensive back for St. John's, who gambled that time, Freeman, and thought he was going to come up short to make the interception, and the ball went over his head.
Did you see that formation? Did you see what happened? They shift their big-time receiver to the right, and then they bring a guy in motion. And when the play went off, it looked like a sprint out, and it was. That's what Washington Redskins run. Some of these coaches have been taking playbooks from pros, and it freed up the big receiver downfield, Heath, and he got behind everybody. I guess the defensive cornerback got fooled or whatever. He's just playing all slow, and what a nice throw, and the result was a touchdown.
Now the extra point for Marist, as it was St. John's looking for the big play early. Instead, Marist got it. The kick is on the way. It is good. As Scott DiBardino just came back to the squad this week. DiBardino had left the team last year, came in, kicked this extra point when Marist lost their place kicker through an injury, and now it's Marist in front of St. John's 7-0 here with 6:21 to go in the first quarter.
See, Ed, this is a sprint out right here. And I tell you, this guy has a pretty good arm. He heaved it pretty good. Now, this is Heath. How he got behind the defensive back, I don't know.
Yeah.
The defensive back was looking in the backfield. Now, I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe he was thinking it was run or whatever, some big sweep. But anyway, he got fooled, and this enabled Heath to get behind him, and the result is a big touchdown. Is this what you mean by big plays?
I think that's about as big as they get here, 80 yards. As I think in that case, Mark Bernardini was looking for the interception and didn't realize the ball was that well thrown. Del Ponte surprising because he was rolling out, not from the pocket throw, but rolling out and showing the strong arm while on the move. It gives Marist a 7-0 lead over St. John's with 6:21 to go in the first quarter. On what has turned into a rainy afternoon here in Poughkeepsie. Leonardov Field in Poughkeepsie, New York. All right, Freeman, if you're St. John's and the rain is coming down now, are you going to have an advantage that you throw early now, try to get the big play right back, or are you going to go underneath like you did on the first drive?
Well, the thing that I would look at doing is coming out in my my four-receiver offense and throwing underneath. You're absolutely right. Back them all up, and hopefully one of my guys will make a big play. Because right now, Marist is in front, and I think it's going to change the game. I think they're going to come after St. John's, and they're going to create a problem for them.
Short kick taken up on the 35-yard line. Here's Hatwood, who can go all the way. He's got track speed, and he gets into Marist territory. Now, remember, Aaron Hatwood last week against Monmouth brought a kickoff back 95 yards for a touchdown. He was the Big East long jump champion and one of their top sprinters. So St. John's gets excellent field position here.
Well, St. John's is going to have to look at now what's going to happen with that big rush on the defensive line. They're going to have to throw real quick passes underneath, and I believe they will be successful. Let's see what they do, Ed.
At the Red Fox's 44-yard line, goes to the deep back. It's Creighton. But nothing there as he's pulled down on a nice defensive play. Coming up to make the stop was Brian Oles, the strong safety, a All-American candidate. Oles is considered the best defensive player here by the Marist people.
Well, Oles is a strong safety, and they look in the backfield at the back because that's the guy that they're responsible for if he comes out of the backfield. They don't know if he's going to run or pass, but he was up, and he's the force guy, and he made the hit. What a great play by this kid.
So St. John's now with 2nd and 11 at the Marist 46-yard line. Going with a two-wide receiver formation. They put two split backs in. They don't use that formation much today. Levine going on top, and the pass slides out of the hands of the intended receiver, Tom McPherson. Let's go down the sideline now to Kevin Christopher. Kevin?
You know, it may very well have been a mental lapse by the St. John's defender, Berendini, on that touchdown. He may have thought, judging by the reaction of the St. John's coaching staff, that Ford, the option quarterback, was running the offense for Marist. Consequently, he just got burned badly on the touchdown play. Back to you guys.
Kevin? All right, back here for St. John's in a 3rd and 11 situation, the Marist 46-yard line. It's Levine, the freshman, with a deep drop. He's got the man, and it bounces loose. It's incomplete. Was intended for Tom Goudis. Goudis would have had a first down, and he been able to hang on the ball, but Bruce Harris, number 6, the right cornerback, up to make the hit and knock the ball loose from Goudis.
And Levine's been putting the ball right on the money. Both receivers dropped the ball.
So St. John's has to kick it away for a 4th time today with 5:26 to go as Kevin Delaney will punt it away. Deep man is Harris, and there's a flag. Looks like a delay of game. St. John's has backed Marist up the entire first quarter, but unable to cash in on it. Let's see what the call is. That's a call against Marist for procedure. So a 5-yard penalty for illegal procedure against Marist puts St. John's in a 4th and 6 situation. I don't think they're going to change much here, Freeman, unless, of course, you want to come in with a fake punt early in the ball game like this, but they've certainly got excellent field position at the Marist 40-yard line.
I think they're trying to put pressure on the kicker here. I think they want him to shank one.
Or block it, because they've got to see the pressure. They're faking to send 10 people. One body.
This is a return. This is a return. They're setting it up for a return.
And a beautiful catch there at receiver is Harris as he runs up the sidelines and gets out near midfield before he's chased out. As Harris showed real good speed and his ability to get to the outside on that low, short kick. Beautiful kick then by Harris, as 24 yards only from Delaney, as the pressure obviously got Delaney. A good block on that play, too, by Stephen Delamichis.
That was a great fake. It even faked us out. We thought they were going for the ball, when in actuality they were setting up a return. And I tell you what, they took full advantage of it. Nice field position.
Now, this is the first time that Marist has had real good field position in this game. With 5:15 to go in the first quarter, Marist gets it their own 42-yard line. They've got 2 wide receivers, 3 this time out to the right side, and they'll send a man in motion. This is McDonald trying to get running room, can't find it off the left side, as Marist has had trouble running against St. John's defense. Wrapping him up, Chris Carew at 6 feet 208 is very small for a defensive end, but made the stop, did Carew.
Well, you know, Carew anchors that outside. Anything that comes outside of that, he has to contain, and he's going to make the hit. And both teams are trying to run off tackle, but to no avail. Both teams are doing a good job in keeping everything stuck right there in the middle.
Bob Del Ponte is only 1 for 3 passing the ball, but that one pass, officially 81 yards for the touchdown to give Marist a 7-0 lead over St. John's. This is McDonald. Hit behind the line of scrimmage, tries to drag people with him. McDonald, power runner, trying to get to the outside. Didn't have much traction. He ran it again to Chris Carew. Up to make the stop. Carew is playing well. He's a big play kid for St. John's. Quick reacting, only 208, but he's fast to the ball.
I tell you what, that was like a delay, almost like a draw type of effect for the right side. And I tell you what, St. John's, they were waiting on him, and they made a great hit over there on the end over there.
Now it's a 3rd and 7 for Del Ponte, the quarterback, and the Marist Red Foxes. Let's see if he looks to go upstairs. Incomplete. That time they had good coverage on the intended receiver. It was Jim Morocco, the 5'8", 175-pound senior, trying to come free over the middle, but he was picked off nicely by the Red Storm defense. And so 4th down is here for Marist now. And we have a flag on the play. Let's see what the call is. Holding against Marist is declined by St. John's. So the Red Storm will look for the Red Foxes to give up the football. With 3:55 to go in the first quarter in this MAC battle, it's Marist on top of St. John's 7-0, as Mike Veccarelli comes in to punt for Marist. For St. John's, O'Leary is the deep man back there to return. No pressure. Bounces inside the 35-yard line. It was out around the 26-yard line where it's down. So St. John's has their worst field position of this game as they're backed up deep in their own territory. A 31-yard kick for the Marist punter. And the Red Storm will go on offense, trailing 7-0 Marist in this game. Now, these teams, the last 4 years, have had some really close games, with the Red Foxes winning 3 of those 4. Last year, St. John's came from behind to beat Marist 31-30, and is about an exciting football game as you'd want to see.
Well, and I tell you what, these guys know what's at stake today, and they're certainly playing pretty hard out there.
Levine with 3 wide receivers, having a little trouble as he gets smeared to the line of scrimmage. Might have been a busted play then, as he did give it off to Creighton, but they had a little mix-up on the handoff.
And I think the weather is playing a bigger part than I thought, at least. And receivers are dropping the ball, maybe because the ball is too slick. I don't see a towel out there drying the ball off. So it is a problem out there as far as the weather is concerned. Bad footing. The football is slick. We'll see what goes on.
It's become a drenching rain now, and it is certainly affecting the middle of the field, which was a little bit chewed up to begin with. Back to throw is Levine. He's going to bomb away. He's got a man open, McPherson. He can go all the way. The touchdown maker, Tom McPherson, on his way to his 32nd career touchdown at St. John's, as Levine comes right back and hits a bomb for St. John's. As he beat Malik Woodard, the defensive back, got outraced by McPherson. McPherson, we talked about Freeman at the top of the broadcast, has tremendous awareness of the field. A very smart receiver, and that time was a beautiful pattern.
Ed, what a fantastic play. Levine drops back. It's almost like they set this up. He sees this big guy downfield, and he's going for him. By this time, I don't know how he got behind Mario, but he did, and Levine hit him with a big pass, and look at this. McPherson.
75-yard touchdown toss. Yep.
Amazing.
So now St.
When you
John's,
talk about big play, this is a big play, excuse me.
That's all right, Freeman. That certainly was. Here's John Ledwith trying the extra point to try to get St. John's even. Not a good snap, but Ledwith has plenty of foot, and now this game is tied. St. John's 7, Marist 7, with 2:57 left to go in the first quarter. So despite the rain, despite the muddy conditions, we've had 2 big aerial bombs.
We sure have. And when we were talking about big plays, and that's the one thing we discussed coming into today's game. And without question, even with the conditions the way that they are, you know, the teams are tied. It's almost like a mirrored effect. And both on big, long, you know, passes. And it's outrageous. And if today is going to be like this, then we're in for a great game.
All right, we'll be back with more. You're watching MAC Football.
Hi, Stevie. Let me give you a hand. That wasn't too hard.
Pure beauty. That's what the National Kidney Foundation sees in your old car. Because where you see a worn-out old clunker, we see a life-saving machine. Call us. We'll gladly tow your car away and sell it for cash to pay for research and equipment to save lives. The beauty to us is obvious. The beauty to you is a tax deduction for the car's market value. What a car.
Cup Challenger News. The entry list for the IACC World Championships of Fleet Racing.
All right, back here at Leonard Field in Poughkeepsie, New York. This is Ed Ingles, along with the former Jets' outstanding running back, color man Freeman McNeil. And Freeman, we'll get into this in a minute, but I want you to think a little bit about who has the advantage in this kind of conditions, the receiver or the defensive back. Generally, they'll tell you the receiver has the advantage, but let's wait after this kickoff. We'll talk about that, but give you some food for thought, Freeman. All right, getting ready for the kickoff here will be John Ledwith will kick off for St. John's. Red Foxes with 2 men back deep, Harris and Rhodes. Rhodes is to the far sideline. Harris is to the near sideline. Kick will go inside the 30. Rhodes picks it up, trying to get some room. He'll give Marist some pretty good field position as he gets out across the 35-yard line. Marist to go 1st and 10. With 2:53 to go in this first quarter, it's Marist 7, St. John's 7. So Freeman, who has the advantage?
Without question, the receiver.
Why?
And I say that because if he has good enough movement, he can set a defensive player up, and the defensive player will most aptly lose his feet before the receiver would.
Okay, so it does pay if the quarterback can hang on the ball and deliver it, it's an advantage to throw.
Exactly.
Del Ponte still a quarterback for Marist out of the I formation. On a long count, gives it to the up back, McDonald, who makes a little rear yardage that time, and there's a flag on the play. Marist had very little success running inside